Hello, hello. How is everybody doing? How we doing? How we feeling? All that good stuff. Let me just make sure my levels are set fairly good over here. Thank you so much, Hunter. I'm doing pretty good. My day is going a-okay. I am excited we get more of our sweet little ocean guy. I love him. He must be protected for forever, if we're being so honest. Okay, I think maybe like around there will probably be good. We just don't want anything being too loud. Thank you for the hydrate before we get going here. I appreciate it. Okay. For anyone who somehow doesn't know yet, even though we've been doing this since June, we are playing Our Life Beginnings and Always Buddies with our dude, our guy, the legend, the ocean boy himself, Mr. Cove Holden. Okie dokie. We've got two more Cove moments set up. We got boating, which we will do now, and then we have happiness, which we will do later at 8. Um, I was just introducing the game and thanking you for the hydrate, that's all. And then next week will be all of our Baxter moments, which I am so fucking excited about. Give me the Baxter moments. Hi, Chaotic. What's up? Thank you for joining. I appreciate you. You're gonna get to see this adorable ass visual novel. But yeah, so right now we'll be boating, later will be happiness. Y'all kind of caught on by now that the Our Life streams either don't hit the 2-hour mark or go well past the 2-hour mark. It depends on the moment, so we will find out. These 5 DLC right here in front of me are ones that I have not played before, so y'all get like my raw reaction to these. I'm really excited. I thought Reflection was super cute. I thought Late Shift was super cute. Serendipity ended up stressing me out more than anything because it brought up characters from the past that I really could have lived without seeing again. But yeah, okay, let's hop into boating, friends. You perched at the kitchen island, whiling away the minutes until your sister joined you downstairs. There was quite an adventure planned today. Lee was coming down near the Sunset Bird area as part of what she called a little trip. Apparently, she'd thought how nice it would be to go on a private boat trip this summer to celebrate graduation and everything. Damn, I keep forgetting we have like a really rich cousin. What might have been an idle dream for most people turned into reality in Lee's hands. You'd been invited along for the ride by your best cousin. Do we have other cousins? I've only ever had Lee be mentioned. Interesting. It is kind of insane that she can make that happen. Yeah, I'm going with that one, because who the fuck's just like, yeah, we're gonna go on a little boat trip to celebrate graduation? I'm sorry. Clearly, here's the thing. Our family clearly isn't, like, bad off, because this is a nice house, but, like, a boat trip? Yeah, it was kind of insane she could make that happen. You knew renting a boat was possible, of course. You did live by the beach after all, and these things got advertised, but you also knew that it was expensive. For Lee, the cost was no object, and she wanted to share the experience. I gotta say, if you're gonna be like a rich person or come from a rich family, I do think Lee does it very nicely. Of she wants to share it with everybody, and that is cute. Like if you're gonna be rich, be the right kind of rich. You know what I mean? You weren't the only one who was heading out on the trip. Liz was coming, of course. Your moms had been invited, but hadn't been able to find the time to squeeze it in. And so, the trip would only involve the kids of the family, a term that had stuck despite all three of you being adults now. Aww. Mom would have joked about cramping your style, but there was apparently plenty of room on the ship. Lee had been more than happy for you and Liz to bring other friends along if you wanted. But the trip out to Sunset Bird, even further out to where Lee and the boat would be, just wasn't feasible for most people. Not many folks lived close by. I mean, our neighbor lives close by. Are we gonna go? We're gonna get to hang out with Cove on a boat? The Ocean Bean? There was naturally one person around who would always be there for the ride, Cove. You were just about to meet up with him outside. Fucking called it, buddy. Lee had been glad when you told her he'd be able to come along today. Just as you were thinking about your cousin and her plans for the day ahead, your phone sprang to life. Yeah, apparently I'm psychic. It's not like this whole damn game's not about Cove or anything. Glancing at the display, you saw that the incoming call was from Lee herself. You answered without pause. Hey, hey, look at her. She's so cute. I just want to squeeze her. I love Lee. Also, can we talk about the fact that even though Cove bought this for us when we were 8, we finally have a reason to use it, so it's on our little phone 10 years later? That shit's so cute. She dove straight into the topic, the trip meetup. You could hear the trill of excitement in her voice. I'm here now and everything is all set. All you've got to do is show up and we'll be off. Woo! She spoke quickly, animated by anticipation. I love her. Hooray! You echoed her enthusiasm. See, even when I'm excited, I don't think I'd be able to get on Lee's level. I feel like Lee's the kind of person where when she's excited about something, she's basically like vibrating and bouncing off the fucking walls. Like, I don't think I could ever be on Lee's level of excitement. Great. Can't wait to see you. Liz and Cove are definitely still on board too, right? Yep. Wonderful. And oh no, what's that look? Lee, what are you up to? What have you done? When Lee spoke again, her teasing tone told you what was coming next. Prying. Yeah, boy. Cove is coming purely as your very good friend and neighbor, I take it. Still haven't asked him out yet? Damn, Lee, be cool. Okay. Uh, yes, Lee. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. Oh, don't worry. You've only been pining for him for a meager 5 years. You'll get around to doing something eventually. Damn, Lee. Shush. She giggled at her comment and you shook your head, despite her not being able to see it. But moving on to a less sensitive topic. There's still a bit of time before you're due to set off. Is there anyone you want to extend a last minute invite to? Yeah, she really said, don't worry, you'll get some. Lee has been pestering us to ask out Cove for like what feels like forever, but it's fine. No need to keep the guest list sparse now. It's not like we'll be bumping into anyone else to join in when we're out in the middle of the ocean. Ah, there's a new guy in the neighborhood I like. Let's go. Invite him. Blake, you've got to see if he wants to come. I need to see who your new friend is. All right, I'll do it. No idea if he'll be free, but I can try. I'll let you go. I have to if I want to see you here in the flesh. She uttered the last words dramatically, making them sound more like a threat than a statement. Laughing, you shook your head. Lee chuckled along down the phone. Bye, Lee. Bye. I love her. Now that your attention was free, you looked over to the stairs to see if Liz had emerged yet, but there was still no sign of her. Liz be wanting to sleep, I think, which is a fucking mood. Or she's taking forever to get ready, which is not a mood. I can get ready fairly fast once I'm like up. Um, you figured you might as well go out and see if Cove was ready in the meantime. Literally, I kid you not, growing up, specifically, I remember for like high school, I would shower the night before so that I could just roll out of bed, throw on clothes, and leave for the bus. Like, I didn't do a bunch of stuff getting ready in the morning. It was just, I was like, how can I do this shit as quick as possible so I can stay in bed as long as possible? I was out here cutting all the fucking corners I could. Besides, you needed to stop by Baxter's place to invite him along. Please let Baxter come with us. I want Baxter to go. I love him. Liz would catch up, you were sure. Um, I don't think calling up to her is necessary because, like, she might not hear us depending on what she's doing. I don't know. Does she, you know what I mean? Like, if she showered or anything, and then like if she's blow drying her hair, then she won't hear us shout up. So it's better to, if we're gonna update her, send her a text on the updated plan. That's the thing to do. Okay, I'm glad we all agree staying in bed as long as humanly possible is the goal out here. Ah, you grabbed your phone one more time to let her know where you'd gone. And that's on communication. With that, you hopped off the chair and headed out of the door. A sunny day greeted you. Shielding your eyes with a hand, you admired the sky. It looked like good weather for heading out on the water. That was something. You heard your name called and turned automatically. Cove was the source of the call. He was standing halfway between his own house and yours. He waved at you as he walked over. No sunburns? Hopefully we have the stuff, the sunscreen, whatever the fuck. I'm good at words, I promise. Um, uh, I don't feel the need to run. It's not that big of a, maybe, take a step in his direction. Cove smiled at you as he covered the rest of the short distance. Look at this sweet boy. I love him. I fucking missed you, Cove. Goddamn. Hi. Hi, Cove. Ready to go? Cove nodded easily, blinking languidly in the sunlight. Then his mouth curved into a gentle smirk. First jet skis, now boat. What aquatic transportation device is up next for us? My money's on a submarine. I was gonna say, we've been besties with Cove since we were like 8, so 10 years of our life. I love him. You laughed. It'd been an adventurous summer for sure. Cove grinned, pleased that he'd amused you. He got jokes. He got jokes, I love him. I'm sorry, this is all new to me, so I'm really gonna gush at like every fucking line, I think. Okay. Sorry, Cove, we gotta keep going. Cove glanced away, chewing his lip with consternation. Is it really okay for me to come? Cove, you know Lee. Lee fucking loves you. I feel like it's an obligation for you to come. Of course. You don't even have to ask, right? He's so shy, I love him. Cove rubbed the back of his neck, frowning as if trying to work it out for himself. Cove, you're basically part of the family. Stop being stressy. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. This is a really ritzy trip, and Lee's your cousin, not mine. But Lee adores you. I mean, the two of us, me and Lee, are friends maybe, but it's not like we've ever hung out on our own. I'm kinda worried I'm gonna be out of place. I won't let you be out of place, I promise. I'll be right by your side the whole damn time. I mean, we're all gonna be out of place. We're on a boat in the middle of the ocean. That's all that's happening. It's not like you're gonna be around a bunch of snooty rich people. It's just Lee, and Lee is harmless. I do understand his worry though. Like, his worry is valid, but it's gonna be okay. You sweet boy. Jesus, not Cove, you're so difficult. Absolutely not. I would never, ever, ever, ever say that to him. How dare you? Let's go with, there's no way you'd be left out, Cove. Why would I leave you out? We're attached at the fucking hip all the goddamn time, my dude. And that's thanks to you. I got you, Cove. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna have fun on the boat. His voice was affectionate, with a particular emphasis on the final you, like it was the star of the collection. Cove managed a small smile. The worry hadn't lifted from his rigid shoulders, but you could tell that he was attempting to project a little more confidence. Him try to be confident boy. I'm gonna go, don't worry. Good. You were satisfied with that. Ah, and I meant to tell you, I'm gonna be inviting Baxter too. I've gotta check if he's in now before we run out of time. Huh? Really? Cove was stunned. He hadn't been prepared for any extra surprises. He shook it off, however. Alright, it's not like this isn't already gonna be awkward for me. Oh, come on, Baxter's harmless. It'll be fine. It'll be great. He was joking, mostly. Cove, please. It's gonna be okay. I'll wait for you here. Okay, Cove. I'll see you in a bit. You strolled over to the condo Baxter was staying in and rang the doorbell. You recalled the last time you had been at Baxter's place, but before memories could claim you, the door slid open. Baxter looked out, his head tilted in interest. Blake? What a nice surprise! I love him! Oh my goodness, what's up, my dude? He folded his arms over his chest, leaning casually against the doorframe. Is there something I can do for you? Thank you for the reminder to hydrate. I appreciate it. Y'all, I love Baxter. Baxter is my guy. Not we're taking a boat trip right now. Are you on board? Is going on a sort of trip. Now, you could come if you want to. Hell yeah, my little emotes. I want to buy some emotes in the future. I've been looking on Etsy. There are some good ones. I don't know. Want to head out on a boat ride with my family in Cove? His eyes widened only briefly before resting back to his usual languorous expression. Jesus, that's a new one. It was either an impressive show of restraint, or Baxter's life involved more impromptu boat trips than yours. Perhaps both. For real though, chaotic, I get that. I've been doing my best out here, y'all. I don't know how to read, I just have a lot of words memorized. I'd love to. So you didn't have plans already? That's great. To your surprise, Baxter's mouth curled into a little smirk. My schedule is always open for an improved itinerary. I'm flexible, remember? Oh. I love him. He was not only agreeing to come on the trip, but apparently canceling some other plan in order to make it happen. Baxter was certainly something. Thanks for keeping me in mind. I think this is going to be fun. He slipped outside. After securing the door behind him, he swept out an arm and indicated for you to lead the way. The first stop was to collect Cove. He was waiting, as promised, where you'd left him. Cove, good to see you. Hi. There was still no sign of Liz. You took the opportunity to bring Baxter up to date on the plan for the day. He took in your words with interest. Only a minute or two more passed before the door to your house finally opened, Liz framed within it like a portrait. Unlike you, she had no need to shield her eyes with a hand in order to protect them from the sun's blinding rays, as her hat was performing the job admirably. Spotting you, she headed straight over. She smiled warmly at you and Cove as she approached. Her attention then promptly turned to the group's new addition. It's nice to see you again, Baxter. His eyes closed as he bowed his head in a nod ever so slightly. And the same to you. Everybody's so polite, goddamn. Living on the same street had given Liz and Baxter the opportunity to get to know each other over the course of the summer. Though she'd spent less time with him than you had, you anticipated that she wouldn't object to him tagging along on the trip. I asked him to join us today. Just as you'd expected, Liz didn't have much of a reaction to the change of plans. She merely raised her brow. Oh. I feel like you and Lee will become fast friends, Baxter. Baxter smiled politely. With that, your little group piled into the car. It had been decided in advance that you'd all be heading over in Cove's car. Then you set off for the journey down the coast to where you'd be meeting Lee. You wound down the California shoreline, with sparkling ocean waters on one side and craggy cliffs on the other. The world blurred by until eventually you made it safely to the large harbor. It was a far grander scale than the one near Mr. Holden's shop. Boats 2, 3, even 5 times larger could fit. Goddamn, big boats. Liz took charge from there, calling up your cousin to guide you the rest of the way. Lee did her best to explain where precisely the boat was docked. Given that she was doing it without seeing where you were, and that it was an area she was only slightly familiar with herself, she did a pretty good job. It took a bit of fumbling, a little retracing of steps, as your cousin and your sister had different definitions of orange. That was rusty brown, Liz had protested. But before too long, you heard her voice calling you, not from the phone in Liz's hand, but over the wind rolling off the ocean. Searching for the source of the sound, you found her on the prow of a ship, jumping into the air and waving frantically for your attention. You'd arrived. Lee dashed from the bow over to the gangway, where you boarded one by one. Hi everyone, I'm so glad you got here okay. You could tell, even if she'd said nothing. Her bright grin as she saw you all spoke loud and clear. I love her. Like, look at Lee. Hold on. I want to look at Lee in the boat real quick. Look how cute she is. I love Lee. Like, they're adorable. I think the boat is really cute. I like the little couch. I'm obsessed. I love them. Okie dokie. Back where we were. Where were we? I'm getting distracted. Hi, Lee. You gotta give her a hug. Give her a full-on hug. Don't half-ass that shit. If you're gonna do something, do it right, my guy. You wrapped both arms around her and pulled her tight against your chest. Squealing, Lee returned the hug just as tightly. For real, like, this is your cousin. You can't just half-ass that shit. Look, she wanted a hug too. Look, she's so fucking happy. I love her. After greeting you, Lee turned to look over the faces of the others who'd be joining you on your ocean voyage. Her attention was immediately pulled to the only one in the group that she'd not met before. Grinning, she approached him. I'm Lee. I'm so excited to meet the mysterious new man on the block. What a coincidence. I was looking forward to meeting our gracious host for the day. I love him. They're so cute. Stop it. They're both just gonna spend the whole fucking time complimenting each other because they're both so fucking kind and polite and shit. Goddamn. But I must confess, I'm not that mysterious. I'm rather open. I do hope that doesn't come as a disappointment. I love him. Not at all. I can appreciate forwardness. Welcome aboard. With that, she glanced over at the others. Lee, thanks again for taking us on this lovely trip. Cove hovered awkwardly behind you and your sister. Even with Liz's broad sun hat, he was too tall and the group was too small to hide effectively. He made fleeting eye contact with Lee, then looked away. Why is he so stressed out? He knows Lee. She doesn't bite. Hi, thank you for letting me come. The boat is cool. He chuckled nervously. Lee smiled, entertained by his bumbling phrasing. He's just such an awkward little bean. I love him for it, though. Hi, Cove. She giggled as she spoke, unable to hide her amusement. Cove lowered his head. Oh, don't laugh at him. Not you stood in front of him like a shield. Okay, I don't know. Pat his arm reassuringly. Cove is gonna be okay, I promise. Yeah, you patted his arm reassuringly. We're all gonna have a good day. Yeah. Cove smiled weakly at you, his face flushed. You could tell that he appreciated your show of support, but was still embarrassed about needing the help. The floor seemed to give beneath you. As Lee whooped with delight, you realized that the ship had pulled out into the water. It had been so steady while it was moored that you temporarily forgotten you weren't on solid ground. Now, as the boat rocked beneath your feet, there was no doubt you were truly setting sail. The little group dissipated into chatter or headed over to the railings to watch the ocean. You were ruffled by the breeze, which seemed stronger out on the water than it was back on the shore. The floor continued to rise and fall, reminding you of standing in a bouncy house while others jumped. Geez, not you were hit with nausea. You were curious about how this trip would go. I think we've got a very interesting group of people on this boat, so it should be fun, but our luck, some stupid shit will happen. I don't know. Yeah, curious how this trip would go. As you let your surroundings truly sink in, you thought today was shaping up to be memorable. You were glad that you'd been able to join Lee on this trip. We can really get the party started now. Oh, wonderful. What did you have in mind? Thank you for the reminder to hydrate. I appreciate it. Woo, party, let's go. I don't know, boat party? Boat party, do 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 do. I think the only time I've been on a boat in real life was one time when I was a kid. I think I went whale watching with people. But even that, I don't remember that much. Well, the word hung in the air as your cousin stalled. It was clear that she didn't have something immediately in mind. Then what did you... Oh, Lee. Cove's eyes sparkled as he piped up. Can we get out of the boat? Like go swimming around in the deep ocean? Sometimes you'd swear that boy was part merman, the way he was continuously drawn to the water. But Liz immediately squashed the suggestion. No. Her tone left no room for debate. Baxter chuckled, combing a hand through his hair. I'd prefer to stay on board too. Oh yeah, Baxter's scare of water. Baxter say water scary. Ah. But he did like dip his toes in that one time. So like it'll be fine. From what I remember, the whale watching was fun. However, it was like a long ass time ago. So the memory isn't like super there. But I think I remember having a good time. Sorry, it's not that kind of boat trip. It isn't supposed to stop anywhere. If someone did end up off in the water, the captain would call the Coast Guard on us. Cove's shoulders slumped at the resounding rejection. All right. Well, he tried. He pitched an idea. I can appreciate that. What the heck do you do on a boat? I don't know. We'll still find something fun to do, Cove. Truthfully, there isn't that much we can do on the boat that we couldn't technically do back on land. Then why are we on a boat, then? I don't know, look at the pretty water, look at the pretty sky. I often take trips with my father on our boat. He always spends the time deep sea fishing. I'm not much of a fisherman, personally. Activities that could also be done while not on a boat sound excellent to me. Okay, Hunter, take your time. Visibly bolstered by Baxter's support, Lee smiled warmly at him. Huh. My dad also takes me fishing sometimes, though we do it on the docks by Dad's shop. I'm not good at it either. See, I don't like fishing. I remember the little bit of fishing I did as a kid. The one time I caught a fish, my dad was trying to get me to stand and hold it to take a picture of me with the fish, but the fish was all flip flopping because it was out of water, and I was so young that I was scared of it. I'm like, I am not standing near that floppy fuck. No. Pass, don't want it. Leave the fishies in the water. Baxter snickered, his expression warm as he looked at Cove. He appreciated the delicate attempt to relate, especially with how standoffish Cove normally was with him. Neither of them are good at catching fishies. That's so fucking cute. See, now all we need is Derek, because then we'll have all three of our dudes. I miss Derek. Give me Derek back, you bitch. That's the fate of sons with their dads, apparently. How lucky we won't be doing that now. Yeah. Liz nodded. There's nothing wrong with some non-nautical themed event activities. We could play a party game for all I care. Yeah, we'll do a party game. You saw her brow furrow for just a moment as she mentally conjured possibilities, then smooth out as one came to mind. Oh, what about the one where something is written down and people give clues and one person has to guess what it is? Are you talking about, what is it, charades or something? Talking about charades? Sure. I said I'd play a party game and I stand by it. Who's guessing first? Me. I'm guessing first. Let's go. Lee propped her chin on her hand, surveying the group. Blake, Baxter, Cove, Liz, then me. Sound good? Sounds good to me. Her suggestion was met with nods and murmurs of approval. Great. We can get the game going right away. With a devious grin, Lee picked up a pen and a notepad from the bar counter. She twirled the glittery pen with her fingers. Lee clarified the rules after Cove raised a wavy eyebrow. Random words would be written down and folded up to give to another player. When it was someone's turn to be a guesser, they would show everyone else the word, but couldn't look at it themselves. The other players had to help the guesser figure out what the word was without saying it directly. Each person was allowed to say only one clue. After all the hints were given, then the guesser would have to decide. Lee gave each guest at the mini party a piece of paper from her notepad. It was surprisingly thick-lined paper with a little starfish printed at the bottom. That's so cute. She scrounged around to find more writing implements. She managed to dig up a short pencil with an old jelly grip on it, a ballpoint pen with a logo you didn't recognize, and a purple crayon. Okay, I don't know what game we're playing. I gotta be honest, at first when she described it, it sounded like charades. Now I have no clue what we're doing, but it should still be fun. I'm sometimes good at guessing games, but maybe I'll bomb on this, I don't know. Baxter had a nice pen with him already, so he respectfully passed on Lee's offer. She turned to you. Here, pick one. I want... Give me the purple crayon. Of course. You pulled the crayon from the fanned assortment of options Lee had presented to you. The crayon was a lot thicker than what you were used to. It smelled like kindergarten, with a hint of those restaurants that used to give crayons with their kids' menus. Aw, that's so cute. After the random selection of words were determined and the papers were passed around, it was time to start. I guess we know who's going now. Me. You unfolded the paper given to you, careful not to peek while you showed everyone. Liz leaned in closely with a thoughtful hum. As soon as Lee had a chance to read the word, she jumped. Dog. There's a popular type of dog sometimes called that. It's where scientists do experiments and stuff. Lab? Sometimes it's a secret location. Liz gave Cove an edged look. She probably thought it would confuse you. It's lab. It can be used for photos as well. I'm guessing lab. I didn't know I'd have to actually guess. I thought it would give me options. The only one I don't know with Baxter is the photo thing he's talking about. That I don't know. But it's a type of dogs. Dogs can be called labs. A place with science and experiments and stuff, labs. Secret locations. Sometimes people have secret labs. So I'm going with lab, and if I'm wrong, then I give up. That's it! Woo! I fucking got it, buddies! Let's go! Okay, thank God. Get me out of here. That was way more stressful than I thought it would be. You got it. Hell yeah. Yeah, you nailed it. Everyone cheered. Liz gave you a round of applause. You looked at the paper, and in neat, tiny writing, you saw the word lab printed. Ah. Yeah, no, for real, breathe the sigh of relief because I did, though. It would have been embarrassing not to get it. The clues from the others had led you to be pretty sure of your choice, but still. Cove shot a gentle smile your way, and you nodded back. Hopefully, the game continued to go well. We should definitely keep this ball rolling. Baxter fished his paper out from his ripped pants pocket and presented it to the group. Loopy handwriting spelled out the word slide. Oh, kids like it. It's for kids. Kids. Lee bounced enthusiastically, holding out a hand to indicate the short height of children. Baxter nodded slowly. It's at playgrounds, but not really small ones usually. The playground around our neighborhood doesn't have it if you've been there. He shook his head, still perplexed. Unfortunately, I have not. Dang. You've been to playgrounds before, though, right? Baxter had to pause to think on it. He shrugged. In my elementary school, I did have recess, but we had sports fields more than traditional playgrounds. For some reason, it's hard to picture you as a little kid. Well, I'd rather you not imagine that, so it all works out. Cove placed a finger on his cheek as he puzzled out the game's conundrum. He tapped his face absent-mindedly. It's slippery. You can't really walk on it. Slippery. Every clue lost Baxter even more. He had no idea what the word could be. It's fine if you don't get it, I'll let it. I love the penguins do it on their bellies for his whole black and white thing. I think that's cute. But we do know that Baxter is into dancing. So if I go, Baxter, do you know how to do the cha-cha? The cha-cha slide? Oh, slide? That's it, slide! Hell yeah, I got you, dude! Baxter's floundering confidence returned in full force with a broad grin. I got it? He flipped the paper over and traced his fingers across the word. He smirked at it. Thank you very much for the tip, Blake. I got you, Baxter. I wasn't gonna let you fail that. Liz patted you on the arm with approval. Nice one. You had the magic approach that time. Cove flipped open his paper and showed it to the crowd. He kept his hand at the back of the note so he couldn't see the word even if light shone through it. In blocky, wobbly text, you read the word potatoes. You pursed your lips together as you thought what you could say. Sack. Liz turned her head with an incredulous expression while Lee continued her thought. She jumped up, pointing right at the paper Cove had in his hand. You put them in a sack. I mean, I get where Lee's going, but you could do that with a lot of things, technically. Cove blinked at Lee, deeply confused. Lee smiled back, full of confidence that he would come to understand eventually. It's the major vegetable you use in croquettes? I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Probably not. Baxter, is that a fancy thing? Hold on. Now I want to see this shit. What the fuck is... a croquette is a deep-fried roller ball made from a binder and a filling, then breaded. The binder is often a thick sauce, mashed potatoes, wheat flour, or wheat bread. The filling can include vegetables, meats, or leftover foods. It's then coated with breadcrumbs and fried until golden and crunchy. The name comes from the French verb croquer, which means crunch. Okay, I have a better understanding. And we're playing our guessing game. My word was lab and I got it. Baxter's word was slide and I helped him get it with my hint. And now we're on Cove and Cove's word is potatoes and Baxter's talking about some fancy food that comes, I don't know, the name of it comes from France or French or something. So not like a lot, but I don't think that's gonna help Cove because I didn't even know what that was. I'm with Cove. I don't know what that is. I barely know when I looked it up. Really? Baxter was earnestly taken aback, as if Cove just said he'd never had toast before. Damn. Maybe we should change that. There has to be somewhere in this town that serves them, right? Liz cleared her throat, saving Cove from having to respond beyond his frown. What do you got, Liz? It's that Mr. Toy with different faces and things. Cove tilted his head, utterly baffled at the different directions that everyone had taken. What's a Mr. Toy? Oh, goodness, Cove. Liz simply shook her head at his lack of understanding. It was your turn to try. Okay, think of how Cove works. Yeah, forget the whatever the hell Baxter said. French fries. You gave him a look, sending the answer right to him while filling in the blank Baxter had left. Potatoes! Hell yeah, Cove, let's go! Or a singular potato? You're right, yeah, let's go, Cove! Cove repeated it again with a bright beaming grin. Potatoes! Cove was so cute sometimes, you couldn't help but feel happy too over his victory joy. He held his hand out to you for a celebratory high five. Smack his hand back. You slapped his hand with a satisfying smack. He nodded, still looking ecstatic. Thanks for the hint. I don't think I would have gotten it without that. You're welcome. I'm good at this game, apparently. Shit. Not at randomly opening me to another fucking stream. Excuse me? That was wild. I think Twitch is broken. Congrats, now let's go again. Suddenly, the boat tipped forward before rocking back harshly. The ship must have gone over a bigger than usual wave. Liz held onto her hat desperately. Lee laughed at her immediate death grip. You never know what'll happen on the high seas. Yeah, I think in between streams, I'll probably double check that the app doesn't need like an update. Because, like, that was weird. That was very odd. You chuckled too. It's kind of funny. You and Lee chuckled together while Liz stuck up her nose. However, your sister was now smiling, and her hold had slackened. The game continued with Liz and Lee taking their turns. It was such a good time that you all decided to play a few more games. My phone is an Android. Liz turned out to be the best guesser, although that could have been because you knew her well enough to give her relevant hints. Lee had to stop herself from answering on the first clue she was given, but no one really minded. All in all, everyone was glad that Lee had suggested the game. Oh! Lee shot you a grin. Why don't we have some drinks? There's a bar on the ship. Cove tilted his head in disbelief. Lee continued, lithely. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff behind the counter. I bet one could make whatever they can think of. That sounds like an interesting challenge. There's lots of different juices and stuff. I think I've even seen strawberry puree. And pineapple. The carrot juice sounds intriguing. So, it's a juice bar? Yeah. Liz laughed and tapped Lee on the shoulder. You just said bar, Lee. I think you gave the wrong idea. Oops. Sorry for the disappointment, Cove. No alcohol is provided by the ship. That's probably required considering the group they've got today. Yeah, we're all babies. I'm not disappointed by that. I didn't want to get drunk on a ship. I'm a little disappointed. Damn, Baxter. Lee breezed past that misunderstanding as though it hadn't even happened. I was thinking we could mix them up and get something special. Anyone interested? Cove thought about it, intrigued. Liz smirked, recognizing the potential for chaos. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. I mean, yeah, kind of. It'll be a dream, trust me. So, who wants to make drinks? What? It was your idea. Why don't you do it? I've mixed drinks before. If anyone else wants to try, this would be a great chance. I'm a gracious hostess. I want to make drinks. Cool. You're gonna create something wonderful. I just know it. You wondered if you ought to ask for requests, but Lee hustled you off to the non-alcoholic bar. No one else followed. Lee gave a brief tour of selection and various compartments before she went back to the tables. She shouted a final message over her shoulder. Make sure there's enough for everyone. She waved, and then you were left alone with the juice. There was a fridge packed with cartons and various glass bottles of juice. Lee had placed a pitcher on the counter for you to mix things into. You stared at the options, trying to see just what you had to work with. There were a lot of choices. You reached into the fridge to take out some juice. You grabbed... Oh goodness, okay. Let's grab the... I don't know. The mixed raspberry, blueberry, blackberry juice. Let's grab the strawberry juice. And maybe the pomegranate juice. I like pomegranates. Bunch of berries and some pomegranate. I'm not gonna go mango. Fun fact, I might not have any like allergies, like actual allergies, but I think I have a slight allergy to mango because the time I tried it, it made my mouth feel like fuzzy and bad, and apparently that is a sign of like the slightest ever bit of an allergic reaction. So it's not like, I guess I've always considered allergies to be like, I don't know, not like life threatening, but more on the extreme side. And given that all it did was make my mouth fuzzy, I don't really consider it an allergy. Um, Also not cranberry juice. I hate cranberry juice. Cranberries are gross. Yeah, I think the mixed berry, the strawberry, and the pomegranate could be good. I wonder what would happen if I just put like all the juices. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, let's do, and that's all. With your juice done, you set out some glasses and poured out some for everyone. Hey, it's done. The group got up from the lounge chairs they had been sitting on and came to fetch their drinks. Everyone picked up a glass and took a sip. Liz squinted as she took a large swig of juice. She smiled. That's kind of odd, but weirdly in a good way. I agree. It's some nice work. Yeah. He nodded as he took another slow sip. It's refreshing. Hell yeah, they like my juice. The little juice experience was a good time as far as you were concerned. Contently, you all stood close together, some still holding their juice cups. Lee's eyes scanned the group and she giggled. This is so much nicer than having to rely on regular phone calls to catch up, right? Before anyone could respond, Lee's eyes widened. The corner of your mouth pulled into an amused smile. Not that I don't enjoy our chats from afar. It's just more fun to actually be here together. We understand. And yes, this is a fantastic little party. Happy graduation, Lee, Blake, and Cove. That was followed by more cheers in celebration of your high school careers coming to an end. Lee even lifted her glass to toast to it. When it settled down, your older sister had one more comment to add. And no one even had to fight over who gets to use the home phone. Oh no, that shit was chaos. Thank God we're not doing that anymore. Lee threw her head back in thunderous laughter. The smile widened on your face. I remember that. All the times Elizabeth here was trying to push me into being less Gabby. She needed me to just stop so she could call her other friends instead. Hey, many teens have a too cool for family phase. Yeah, luckily it's all a-okay. I forgive Liz for being a teenager. Okay, that's kind of funny though. That got a hearty laugh out of Liz. You caught a quiet snicker out of Cove too. At least Blake kept me up to date on what was happening in Sunset Bird those difficult days. I never knew what wild thing you were gonna fill me in on next. Uh-huh. Yeah, I think I couldn't wait to fill you in on what was happening. It truly was something that you looked forward to every chance it came up. It definitely is always fun to stay in the neighborhood loop. Then Lee drank the rest of her juice down to the very last drop. She made her way to the table over by Cove and set her cup down. Actually, Cove watched Lee as his mouth pulled into a lopsided smile. Making these juice concoctions reminds me a lot of that smoothie business down at the mall. The one that lets you pick all the fruit that goes into it. That was a good place. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yes, it was the best and exactly what I was channeling when I came up with the idea. I'm glad you caught that, finally. Sorry, I can take a while to get things sometimes. You all know that. Too true. Poor Cove, him trying. Ah, it's okay, Cove. You're good exactly the way you are. I love him. You meant it, and you hoped that your sincerity came across all right. Slowly, a warm smile spread across his face. So, Cove? She leaned towards him with a devilish grin. Lee, what is that? What is that look? What are you up to? Girl, I don't trust it. Lee is a lady on a mission, and I don't know what that mission is, but it makes me nervous. When she looks like that, I get nervous. Do you still have that wind chime Blake totally got for you? Of course I do. I'll always keep it. Cove spoke so earnestly that the grin slipped from Lee's face. His seriousness surprised you, but you felt the affection he had for it, and you, nonetheless. The moment broke with the sound of Liz's quiet laugh. That was all it took to get Lee laughing, and soon after all were soaking up the mirth of the moment too. Though, all that aside, we shouldn't leave Baxter out of the loop either. Everyone followed her lead and turned towards the guest for the summer. His expression softened as he shrugged one shoulder. While it's true I wasn't here for these stories, I do enjoy hearing about them. It's nice to only listen sometimes. I love Baxter. Baxter's so fucking sweet. Cool. Really mature. Thank you. His gaze traveled from Lee to Liz and then over to you. He sighed. My cousins aren't nearly as close in age as you are, and as an only child, I'm curious what that kind of relationship is like. Oh, I'm with you there. Only child solidarity. Hell yeah, I'm an only child too in real life. Though I do love getting to play a character that has a sister. Like, I think the sibling thing is kind of cool. Um, Choosing a place like that sounds cool. I'd love to find a place like that. For real, I wonder if the person who made the game just wants a place like that to exist, or if they actually knew a place like that existed. That I am a little curious about. It's weird. When I was really little, I used to wish I had a sibling because only being an only child can get boring in terms of like not having anyone to play with or bug around the house other than your parents. And then as I got a little bit older, I watched all of my friends with siblings be constantly fighting and like torturing each other. So then I went, no, I'm kind of grateful to not have a sibling. And now, as an adult, I'm back to like kind of wishing I did have a sibling just to have someone to even remotely relate to like what it was like growing up. Like, my parents probably shouldn't have been parents at all. And technically, if we're splitting hairs, I have an older half sister that I never see or communicate with. But it's not the same as having a sibling you like live with, if that makes sense. Lee nodded firmly to Baxter and then shot Cove a serious look. He crossed his arms. Alright, only child solidarity. Damn, not Lee, like, pushing Cove into that. A genuine smile lit up Baxter's face. Lee clapped her hands together, pleased at the united front created. Sharing the same wavelength, you and Liz turned your faces to give one another a look. Not breaking eye contact, she reached over and put a hand on top of your head. That's wonderful for you three. I'll keep Blake, thanks. Aw, they're so cute. Your siblings' stare shattered into laughter. The others joined in as well. The hours were spent chatting away, sharing stories and favorite memories as the boat drifted out to sea. As time slipped by, the sun hanging low in the sky signaled that it was time to set sail back to the harbor. The more boisterous atmosphere from earlier had settled into a blanket of comfortable relaxation. Liz and Lee were absorbed in conversation, lounging around on the deck couch. Baxter sat across from them, nodding along, and every now and then you could hear laughter coming from the three of them. There were always smiles. Taking a deep breath of sea air, you sighed contentedly. Cove stood by your side in the center of the deck. When you were ready, you looked back to the deck and the faces of everyone you spent the afternoon with. You never wanted to forget that view. Then, looking out at the wide open ocean, you committed every bit of the moment to memory. You quietly thought to yourself, today had certainly been an adventure. Okay, that was really cute. I enjoyed that. Now let me make sure I save and not load, because if I have to go through that again, I'll be mad. Save it. Overwrite the save. Yes. Beautiful. Mwah. 10 out of 10. And there we go. Another wonderful fucking moment wrapped up. That was really cute. I'm curious what the heck will happen later when we play the happiness moment. And then I'm hyped for next week to show y'all the Baxter moments. I look forward to you getting to know Mr. Monochrome a little bit more, because he's definitely my favorite. Like, I love all three of them. I think Cove, Baxter, and Derek have their own individual things that I find sweet or relatable, but Baxter is just like the one, my guy. But okay, on that note, I am going to wrap up for here right now. I will see y'all again later. Remember, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we will be coming up. And then it's our last Cove moment. And then we won't be hanging out with Cove again specifically until we do his ending, which will be this Saturday. No, next Saturday. I remembered, my brain. I realized earlier that I'm giving up all of my Saturdays off for the month of September, so I'm gonna be kinda eepy, but it's fine. Uh, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me and the gang out on a boat. It was a lot of fun. And I will see y'all around later. And as always, take care of yourselves, be kind to yourselves. It's hard being a person, you're doing the best you can. I am proud of you. And don't forget to live a life that pisses off a bigot. Bye, y'all.